Greetings to all. Today I am going to deliver a talk on types of taxation based on rate of tax. In my presentation, I will focus on two major issues. My first point concerns with taxation. Next, I will focus on the types of taxation like proportional tax, progressive tax, regressive tax, and digressive tax, and their merits and demerits. What is tax? Most citizens in the country must pay taxes to the government. Non-payment of tax is a punishable offence. Tax is a contribution for the benefit of the general public rather than for any other particular purpose and or individual benefit. The primary purpose of taxation is to bring in revenue for the government. From income tax to goods and service tax, taxation applies to all levels. Next, we will move on to the types of tax. Indian tax system has adopted three different bases for the collection of tax from the people. There are three types of tax. They are based on the rate of tax, specific and ad valorem tax, and direct and indirect tax. Based on the rate of tax have four types such as proportional tax, progressive tax, regressive tax, and digressive tax. We shall discuss each in detail. Now I'll focus on based on rate of tax. I would like to raise briefly about proportional tax. Proportional taxes are those in which the tax rate remains constant while the tax base changes. The tax base here could be income, money, property, wealth or goods. However, taxes change in direct proportion to changes in income in a proportional tax system. If your income doubles, your bill will double as well. It is a fraction of increased revenue that remains constant. Next, we move on to the merits of proportional tax. It leaves the taxpayer in the same relative economic status. It is simple to calculate and administer. It is very convenient to estimate. Proportional tax is not an offensive to taxpayers as progressive tax. The effect on willingness to work hard and save is not adverse in the case of proportional tax. Next, I will highlight on the demerits of proportional tax. First, proportional tax does not satisfy the canon of equality and justice. The burden of this tax falls heavily on the poor people. Both the rich and the poor pay the same rate of tax. Thus, poor people sacrifice more than the rich. Secondly, proportional taxation cannot bring social justice. It widens inequality in the distribution of income and wealth. The burden of this tax is mostly by the poor people. Thirdly, it is inelastic and therefore less productive. Next, we shift on to progressive tax. Taxes in which the rate of tax increases are called progressive taxes. In the system, taxing increases faster than the tax base or income. As income rises and the tax rate on base rises, the taxpayer with a greater base will have to pay more. Next, I will focus on the merits of progressive tax. It is more equitable as a larger part in the taxation on higher incomes. It is justifiable just as the law of diminishing marginal utility operates in the case on money. Progressive tax can be justified on the ground that higher incomes contain surpluses which have 10% capacity to bear tax. It fulfills the canon of capacity. Progressive taxes are more economical as the cost of collection does not rise when the tax rate increases. Progressive tax has greater revenue productivity than proportional tax. The progressive tax system also complies with the canon of elasticity, for rise in income is automatically taxed under the system so that revenue increases with economic expansion. Progressive taxes are an engine of social improvement. The strong should assist the weak and should aid the poor. Progressive taxation can lead to a better distribution of income and wealth, hence an increase in general welfare of the community. Next, we move on to the demerits of progressive tax. The most significant drawback is that this form of taxation punishes hard-working people, thus discouraging hard work. Another drawback is that there would be more incidents of tax evasion since wealthy people will feel exploited and will try to avoid paying taxes in any manner possible. Another disadvantage of progressive tax is that it is likely to manipulation by tax authorities because there is no standard rate of taxation and the rate of taxation fluctuates according to income, making the system subjective and dependent on the tax officials' personal opinions. Finally, I would like to address the regressive tax and digressive tax. Regressive tax, when the rate of tax decreases as the tax base increases, the taxes are called regressive taxes. In other words, regressive taxes are those that have a lower rate as the tax base grows. Digressive tax, taxes which are mildly progressive, hence not very steep, so that high income earners do not make a due sacrifice on the basis of equality are called digressive. In digressive taxation, a tax may be progressive up to a certain limit. After that, it may be changed at a flat rate. I hope you understand the topic related to public finance and types of taxation including proportional tax, progressive tax, regressive tax, digressive tax, specific and ad valorem tax, direct and indirect taxes and their merits and demerits. Thank you.